The dawn air was crisp, filled with the sound of birdsong and the rustling of leaves. The disciples gathered, their robes fluttering in the breeze as they awaited the teacher's presence. Buddha approached, his steps deliberate, carrying the calm of the morning within his very being. His gaze swept over his disciples, resting on each one with the weight of understanding. Imagine, he began, his voice resonant and measured, a man walking through a dense forest, his path concealed by fallen leaves. The disciples leaned forward, captivated by his presence, their eyes fixed on his serene face. This man searches for treasure, convinced it lies hidden beneath the forest floor. Yet his efforts yield nothing. The sunlight filtered through the trees, casting patterns on the ground that seem to dance with Buddha's words. Frustrated, he seeks the counsel of a wise woman who lives at the edge of the forest. Buddha continued. She tells him, "You have everything you seek within yourself. Stop digging. Begin uncovering your own heart." The disciples whispered among themselves, their murmurs a soft undertone to the rustle of the wind. Buddha raised a hand, and the whispers ceased, replaced by a profound silence that enveloped the grove. "You," he said, "are like the man in the forest, endlessly searching for what is already within your reach." A young disciple, barely older than a child, raised his hand hesitantly. "Master," he asked, his voice trembling, "how can we uncover what lies hidden within us?" Buddha's face softened, his eyes filled with compassion as he regarded the young seeker. "Do you see this hand?" Buddha asked, raising his own into the light, the palm open and empty. "It clutches nothing, yet it holds the world. It receives without grasping, offers without attachment, and embodies true freedom." The disciples exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of wonder and contemplation, as Buddha's words lingered in the air. "Imagine," he continued, "a merchant who discovers a pearl of great price, one he has sought for many years." The imagery of the pearl seemed to glimmer in the minds of the disciples, its luster illuminating their thoughts. The merchant carries the pearl in his pocket, fearful of losing it, yet his heart feels heavy with unease. Buddha paused, allowing the disciples to absorb the depth of his words, their breaths synchronized with the natural rhythm of his storytelling. One day, he meets a traveler who, seeing his burdened face, asks what troubles him. The anticipation in the grove was almost palpable, the disciples holding on to every word as though it were a lifeline. The merchant shows the traveler the pearl, explaining its immense value and the fear it has brought him. Buddha's hand moved slowly, gracefully, as if tracing the pearl's contours in the air before them. The traveler smiles and says, "The pearl's beauty diminishes when clouded by fear. Release it, and you will find peace." The disciples nodded, their silent agreement and acknowledgement of the truth within Buddha's tale, resonating with their own unspoken fears. The merchant, Buddha concluded, opens his hand, lets the pearl fall into the river, and walks away with newfound lightness. Buddha turned his attention to the eldest of his disciples, who had spent decades in pursuit of enlightenment. "What does this story teach us?" he asked, his voice gentle but probing, inviting the disciples' wisdom into the collective understanding. The elder bowed his head, his voice steady as he replied, "Freedom lies not in possession but in release, as does peace." Buddha's serene smile was his only response, an acknowledgement that the lesson had taken root within his disciple. The sun climbed higher, its warmth touching the faces of the gathered, who now seemed to radiate an inner light, as though touched by the essence of the teachings. "My beloved disciples," Buddha said, "the hand that is open does not cling to the past nor fear the future." The words seemed to echo through the grove, carried by the wind that passed through the sala trees, rustling the branches in harmonious agreement. An open hand welcomes the present moment, as it is, unclouded by desire or aversion, and it knows peace, One by one, the disciples closed their eyes, the silence becoming a shared meditation, the words taking root in their hearts. Buddha watched them, his own presence a silent benediction, a beacon for those who sought clarity amidst life's chaos. In the distance, the call of a cuckoo bird punctuated the stillness, its song a reminder of life's simplicity and beauty. Buddha spoke again, his voice softer, as if addressing the very essence of the moment rather than the ears of his disciples. Consider, he said, the hand that waters a plant, nurturing its growth, and the hand that picks its fruit. The disciples opened their eyes, drawn back to the present by the vivid imagery of Buddha's words. Their attention unwavering, the same hand performs both acts. Yet it neither claims the fruit nor mourns the flower's fall, Buddha continued. This is the essence of liberation, not in action, but in the freedom of the heart behind it. A disciple sitting near the front, her eyes brimming with tears of understanding, whispered, "Master, how do we practice this freedom in our daily lives?" Buddha's gaze rested on her, his expression as serene as a moonlit night. Begin by observing your own heart, he advised, as though it were the forest you wander through, searching for treasure. The grove seemed to grow quieter, the very air holding its breath, as though nature itself leaned in to listen. When you find thorns of greed or vines of anger, remove them gently, as a gardener tends his garden, Buddha said. And when you uncover the spring of compassion, let its waters nourish every corner of your being. The disciples sat in awestruck silence, their hearts opening like blossoms in the sun's embrace, each word a drop of dew quenching their thirst for truth. Buddha stood, his movements unhurried, as he gazed upon the grove and his gathered disciples. Remember this, he said, his voice carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. The hand that is open to give is also open to receive. The disciples bowed as one, their reverence a silent promise to embody the teachings in their lives. Buddha turned, his form a silhouette against the sunlight, as he walked toward the forest, his steps leaving no trace upon the earth. The disciples remained seated, their hearts and minds a mirror of the grove, still, present, and fertile with possibility. The sala trees swayed gently, their branches whispering secrets to the wind, as though sharing in the sacred moment. Buddha's voice, though absent, lingered in the air, woven into the fabric of the grove, an eternal echo of wisdom. And so the morning passed, the lessons of the open hand taking root within each disciple's heart. A seed of transformation. As the sun climbed to its zenith, the disciples dispersed, their footsteps imbued with the lightness of newfound understanding. The forest, now quiet, held within it the essence of the teachings, the open hand, and the radiant peace it embodied. Another day dawned, serene and full of promise, as the disciples gathered once more under the shade of sala trees. The morning breeze carried the scent of fresh blossoms, and the gentle hum of nature filled the grove. Buddha arrived, his presence a quiet force, drawing all attention with the calm that radiated from him. Today, he began, we delve into the restless mind, a mirror clouded by comparison, where clarity vanishes and discontent grows. The disciples exchanged glances, their curiosity piqued, as Buddha gestured for them to follow him to the still pond nearby. Its surface reflected the azure sky, the delicate clouds, and the surrounding trees, forming an image of perfect harmony. Buddha knelt by the pond, his movements deliberate, his gaze fixed upon its tranquil reflection as the disciples gathered around him. Consider this pond, he said, its surface calm, its waters clear, mirroring the world as it truly is. The disciples nodded, their eyes drawn to the beauty of the reflection, their hearts open to Buddha's teaching. Now, Buddha instructed, handing a small stone to a disciple, throw this stone into the water and observe. The disciple hesitated, then tossed the stone gently, the ripples spreading outward, distorting the once clear image. Buddha spoke again, his voice a soothing melody. This is the nature of comparison. The mind disturbed, clarity replaced by chaos. The ripples subsided, but the reflection remained fragmented, its harmony disrupted by the stone's intrusion. Many, Buddha continued, live like this pond, their peace disturbed by constant comparison, their true selves obscured by turmoil. The disciples listened intently, their thoughts mirrored in the pond's unsettled surface, their questions forming silently in their minds. A young disciple voiced her concern. Master, how can we calm the ripples and restore clarity to the mind? Buddha turned to her, his gaze tender, his words laden with wisdom. Step back from the disturbance. Observe without judgment. He scooped water into his hands, allowing it to trickle back into the pond, its movement gentle, its impact minimal. As the ripples fade, he said, the reflection returns, unchanged, its clarity preserved beneath the fleeting unrest. The disciples exchanged understanding glances, their hearts moved by the simplicity and depth of Buddha's teaching. To avoid comparisons, Buddha continued, focus not on others' ripples but on your own stillness. The reflection within. A disciple known for his competitive spirit spoke, his voice subdued. But Master, the world often thrives on comparison and ambition. Buddha regarded him thoughtfully, his voice unwavering. Ambition rooted in compassion nourishes. Ambition born of envy poisons the mind and spirit. The grove grew quieter, the air heavy with the weight of Buddha's words. As the disciples pondered their own ambitions, look within, Buddha instructed, and ask whether your actions arise from love or fear, from peace or discontent. The disciple nodded, his competitive spirit humbled, his heart seeking the clarity Buddha offered in his timeless teachings. Buddha dipped his fingers into the pond, watching the ripples spread, then settle, the surface returning to its tranquil state. Observe, he said, the natural rhythm of the pond, disturbed yet unbroken, its clarity enduring despite fleeting disturbances. Another disciple, her voice soft but resolute, asked, Master, how can we cultivate clarity in a world that constantly invites comparison? Buddha's gaze rested on her, his words deliberate, guard your mind as you would a precious jewel, knowing its value lies in its stillness. Comparison, he continued, is a thief, stealing joy and peace, leaving behind only the bitterness of distorted reflections. The disciples murmured in agreement, their expressions a tapestry of realization, their hearts stirred by Buddha's profound insights. He rose, his movements fluid, gesturing to the ripples that were fading, leaving the pond's surface unmarred once more. True clarity, Buddha said, requires patience, as does the mind's journey from chaos to peace, from distortion to truth. The disciples bowed their heads, their reverence a silent promise to embody the clarity Buddha had revealed within them. The grove seemed to breathe with their collective understanding, its tranquility a reflection of the wisdom they now held. Buddha gestured for the disciples to rise, his presence guiding them back to the grove, their hearts lighter with realization. Remember this, he said as they walked. The ripples of others are not yours to calm. Focus on your own peace. The sun climbed higher, casting its golden light upon the grove, illuminating the path Buddha laid before his disciples. You belong, he said, not in comparison but in truth, not in distortion but in clarity. Within your own reflection. The disciples sat beneath the sala trees, the grove once again silent, their meditation a mirror of the tranquil pond. As the day unfolded, Buddha's teachings remained etched in their minds, guiding their footsteps toward understanding and peace. The pond, now undisturbed, held within it the essence of the teachings, the stillness, the clarity, and the timeless truth. Another day, the sun set over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, illuminating the grove. The disciples gathered once more under the sala trees, their hearts eager to hear the teacher's profound wisdom and timeless stories. Buddha appeared, his serene presence calming the restless. As he sat among them, his expression holding compassion and quiet strength. Tonight, he began, I will share a tale of hidden potential, the light within each heart waiting to be unearthed. The disciples leaned in closer, their eyes reflecting the flickering flame of the single lamp that illuminated the gathering. There was a farmer, Buddha started, whose fields suffered from drought. The earth parched, his crops withering under the relentless sun. The grove grew still, nature itself seeming to listen to the tale as Buddha's voice carried its wisdom into the night. Day after day, Buddha continued. The farmer labored, seeking rain from the skies, his prayers unanswered, his efforts in vain. The crackling of the lamp's flame punctuated the silence between Buddha's words, like the heartbeat of the story unfolding. One evening, in his frustration, the farmer struck the earth with his plow, his despair driving him to the edge of surrender. The disciples held their breath, the vivid imagery of the struggling farmer bringing the tale to life in their imaginations. As the plow struck deeper, the ground gave way, revealing a hidden spring, its waters surging forth, quenching the parched soil. Buddha paused, allowing the lesson to settle into their minds, the silence speaking as powerfully as the words themselves. The farmer's joy turned to astonishment as he realized the source of life had always been beneath him. Waiting, a disciple near the front raised his hand, his voice thoughtful. Master, what does the spring represent in our lives? Buddha's gaze rested on the disciple, his eyes filled with understanding, his words gentle but profound. The spring is your inner light. It flows within you, he added, hidden beneath the layers of doubt, fear, and ignorance that cloud your true nature. The disciples exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of wonder and deep reflection. As the lesson unfolded before them, to uncover this light, Buddha explained, you must dig deep, not with despair, but with patience, wisdom, and self-compassion. Another disciple spoke, her voice trembling with curiosity. Master, how can we begin to uncover this hidden light within ourselves? Buddha gestured to the lamp, its flame steady and bright, illuminating the space between him and his gathered disciples. Consider this flame, he said. Its light dispels the darkness, yet it requires nurturing, protection, and care to sustain it. Your inner light, he continued, is much the same. It thrives on mindfulness, compassion, and the wisdom to let go. The disciples nodded, their silent agreement a testament to the clarity and resonance of Buddha's timeless teachings. When you feel lost, Buddha advised, turn inward, not outward, for the source of peace and truth lies within you. The grove seemed to hold its breath, the air heavy with the weight of understanding, as the disciples absorbed his words. Like the farmer, Buddha said, you may feel despair, but remember, within despair often lies the doorway to awakening. His voice softened, carrying a melody of solace and hope. Even the darkest night contains the seed of the brightest dawn. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts stirred by the simple yet profound truth woven into Buddha's tale. Buddha's gaze swept over the gathering, his presence an anchor for those seeking shelter from the storms of their minds. Each of you, he said, carries a lamp within. Its flame never extinguishes, even when hidden beneath shadows. The flame of the lamp flickered, its movement subtle, as if responding to the invisible currents of the teacher's words. Your journey, Buddha continued, is not to ignite the light, for it already burns, but to remove what obscures its glow. The disciples closed their eyes, the silence becoming a shared meditation, a moment of connection to the light within. Buddha's voice returned, gentle yet unwavering. And remember, the light within you is not yours alone. It belongs to all. When you uncover it, he added, its radiance will illuminate not just your path, but the paths of others. The sala trees swayed gently, their branches whispering secrets to the stars, as though carrying Buddha's wisdom to the heavens. A disciple near the back, her voice filled with awe, whispered, Master, can the light ever be extinguished? Truly? Buddha's smile was a quiet answer before his words followed. No, the light is eternal, even when unseen or forgotten. It may seem absent, he explained, but like the sun behind the clouds, it remains, waiting to shine once more. The disciples bowed as one, their reverence a silent promise to nurture the light Buddha had revealed within their hearts. Buddha stood, his movements deliberate, as he gazed at the lamp, the grove, and the faces of his beloved disciples. Tonight, he said, let this story and its lesson be your guide. As you seek the light within your being, the lamp's flame steadied, its glow casting long shadows, as if marking the boundaries between darkness and light. Buddha turned, walking toward the forest, his figure merging with the night, his presence an everlasting imprint on their souls. The disciples sat in silence, their hearts alight with understanding, the grove holding the essence of Buddha's teachings within its embrace. As the night deepened, the grove became a sanctuary of stillness, the light within each disciple a beacon for their path. The flame of the lamp burned on, unwavering, a reflection of the light Buddha had awakened in all who listened. Loss, Buddha explained, is not an end but a transformation. Like water joining the earth to sustain life anew, fear arises from misunderstanding, Buddha added. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.